Leslie Samuel, welcome to the Anatomy and Clay Learning System podcast.
Oh, no, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, we've done podcasts for a few years now. I don't know how many episodes, but I doubt we're ever going to talk to a bigger cheerleader for the issue of biology and human anatomy than Leslie Samuel.
That sounds like me. That sounds accurate.
Anybody who dives into your world and just takes a quick glimpse at especially that YouTube channel with the endless variety of videos and the enthusiastic, diving into all these various components and details of human anatomy will be quickly impressed. But I would like to start out, if I can, with just asking you to give us a very quick background about how you got here and how you became such a champion for such an important topic.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm originally from the island of St. Maarten, and I grew up there. I went to school there. And when I went to school there as a young kid, I didn't really care too much about school. So I didn't focus the way that, a student should focus. But I did okay. I got by. And eventually I moved to the US to go to college, and I chose chemistry as my subject, not because I was interested in it, but just because I did pretty decent in chemistry when I was in high school. So I figured, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do, so let me just study chemistry. Soon enough, I realized that chemistry was not what I was into, but I took a biology class, and that was interesting to me because it was about the human body. The only issue was that the habits that I had as a student in St. Maarten, they actually surprisingly followed me to America and to college, and I did terribly. And while doing terribly, I mean, I was in America, the big USA, having a good time, living it up. And then one day, it was the beginning of a semester. It was my fifth year in college, which it should have been a 4-year degree, but I took a physiology class, a systems physiology class. And I remember sitting in this class, and I remember the professor in front of me talking about a neuron. And he was talking about all the complexities of a neuron and how it was structured and the action potential. And it just blew my mind, because I'm there thinking, man, all of this stuff is happening inside of me. This is amazing. And I got so excited that I just wanted to learn more and more and more and more. And I just started studying like crazy. And the professor would teach me that day. I would go to my dorm room and I would go over the stuff he taught me. I would go deeper and deeper. And my love for biology was birthed in that class. And I remember deciding, this is what I want to do. I want to be that professor that is going to teach the students about the neuron and have them be like, whoa, all of this is happening inside of me. Eventually, I'm trying to make the long story very short, but eventually I went on for a master's in neurobiology with the intention on going on for a PhD, realized that I didn't enjoy doing research. So I started teaching at a high school, and I said, you know what, forget the PhD. I'm just going to teach at a high school. But my passion for those advanced anatomy and physiology type concepts was still there. So I decided I'm going to teach the stuff that I would be teaching, but I'm going to do it on YouTube. I'm going to do it on my website. I'm going to do it online. And that's where all of this started. It started with me, literally, my first video was like an introduction to the nervous system and what is a neuron and those kinds of things. What I wanted to do in a classroom, I started doing online. And that was the genesis of everything that I have online today.
And that's about, looking at the videos, probably 12 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah, that was about 12. Yeah, that was exactly 12 years ago now.
Okay. Which is phenomenal, because I mean, today YouTube, I think it's the #2 search engine after just Google in the world. But you have a library of videos on there that is, I don't know, do you know the number? It's got to be hundreds. I mean,
so it's actually, I did so much in the beginning. And then a number of things happened. I changed jobs. I got a job as a university professor doing exactly what I wanted to do because of what I was doing online. And things got kind of crazy. So it slowed down for a few years. And then I sold it, and then I bought it back because I was so passionate about, I mean, there's so much that happened. But to answer your questions in terms of the number of videos that are on here, I'm looking on my channel right now, and it's actually only about 107 videos right now. But I'm adding to that on a weekly basis now because I'm back into it, and this is what I'm fully focused on. And those videos have just kind of gone crazy. People have been watching them all over the world.
I think I saw one with more than 500,000 views, if not more.
I have a few with over 1 million views,
Okay.
actually.
Wow. Wow. I
Yeah.
mean, that's really, really impressive.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I have how to read an electrocardiogram and how blood flows through the heart. Those two videos have over 1 million. And then there are a number with over 500,000. So people have really been enjoying the content.
How does that make you feel? I mean, that must just be phenomenally rewarding thought to know that that many people out there appreciate the content you're providing.
First of all, it makes me feel amazing to know that one person is appreciating the content. But then when you make it into the millions, it just blows my mind because it's literally me here in my little home office. In the beginning, I was just drawing on the screen, and I'm a terrible artist. But I'm just creating this content, and I'm sharing my excitement and my enthusiasm, but also it's educational content. And to know that people are getting value from it, it amazes me. I remember once I got an email from a lady who had been thrown into an inner city school. They didn't have any textbooks. They didn't have money for textbooks. And she's trying to just navigate this new teaching job. And I can remember the line in the email. She said, "Thank you so much for what you do. You are keeping myself, my family, and an inner city community afloat with your videos." And then she said, no greater life's work than that, I would imagine.
Wow.
And I mean, those words, when I get those kinds of emails, it just makes me feel like the effort that I'm putting into creating this content is absolutely worth it.
Yeah. Wow. What's your approach to deciding what's next? I mean, are you fairly organized in terms of saying, I'm going to go into this organ or this muscle complex or this part of the...
I'm a fairly organized, disorganized person,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. So I do have kind of different strategies that I use for determining what content to create. First of all, when I just started, it was just, I create what I want to create, and hopefully somebody likes it. But then over time, I start seeing, okay, when I create this particular topic, I get more people actually consume it because more people are looking for it. So I will go through my analytics and I will determine, man, whenever I do anything on the cardiovascular system, people just go crazy for it. When I do something on the cardiac cycle, oh my word, that it just goes bonkers. And I will create, like right now, because we've been looking at the analytics and seeing how many people are into the cardiac cycle, I decided to make another video on the cardiac cycle, and I made that video, and that went crazy. So now we decided, I'm going to take each part of the cardiac cycle and give it its own video. And now I'm going through that sequence
Wow.
of creating more of that kind of content because it's what people are looking for.
Wow. Give us an idea of what goes into producing each video. Is this a multiple day process? Do you write it out? Well, how do you develop the graphics, et cetera?
Yeah. So here's how I do it. I will make a list of the topics that I want to cover. And then I will, we have a project management system that we use, but in that project management system for each topic, I'm actually going to pull it up right now, but it will actually have checklists for all of the different items. And it will say, choose a title. Then it will say, create an outline. It will say, write a script. And then it will say, develop the slides. And I have someone on my team that does all of the slides and all of the graphics and makes if I look good on the internet, internet with the graphics and stuff that I put out there, it's not because I'm good at it, it's because she is good at it. And she will create those graphics. Then what I will do, I actually use a teleprompter. Like right now I'm looking at you and you're on my teleprompter in front of me so that I can look directly into your eyes. Well, I use that for the script that I wrote, and I will read out my script and be as enthusiastic as I can with that script. Then I will take the slides that she created and play those slides over the script, record the screen, edit it together, and then we'll publish that on the channel.
So a couple of days or a day or two?
If I am efficient, it will take about 3 days of work on my end, from going from the title all the way to the publish the video that's ready for publication.
Yeah. And forgive me for this really stupid question, but do you have to go back and refresh your knowledge on these various issues, or is this just general walking around knowledge for you?
Oh, I definitely have to go back and refresh my knowledge because there's so many details, right? There's so many terms and all this good stuff. And generally speaking, like right now, I'm writing a script on the isovolumetric contractions phase of the cardiac cycle. I will go through and I will type up as much as I know. And then I will have some notes whether I found them or I've used them before, and I will go through and I check, okay, am I missing anything? Are there details that I got wrong? And then I will add those in. Sometimes it will be a thing where I will just go to a textbook and I will read through the textbook to refresh my memory even before I start writing the script, because that's something that I really need to brush up on. My memory isn't the best, but when it comes to biology, because I'm so passionate about it, I have a lot of knowledge about it, but I always need to go back to make sure that what I'm doing is correct. And then once in a while, I would realize that, oh, shoot, because I see a comment on the video like, no, I got that wrong. I need to go back and refresh that part. So it's a dynamic process.
That's interesting. So you pay attention to what your subscribers and viewers are saying about details.
Oh, absolutely. Because in many ways, they're smarter than I am. And that's awesome. So when I can learn from them, that's great.
Is that the interactive part also of interactive biology?
That is exactly it. I plan on adding more interactive elements, but I like to have it as a conversation. I post, they comment, they give feedback, and someone would say, hey, why don't you do something on the urinary system or this particular part of the urinary system? And then I will go and do a little bit of research to see, hey, is this something that people want to see more videos on? And if I see the numbers are looking good when I do my keyword research and some other processes that I do, then I might add that to the list, especially if it's something that I'm getting multiple comments on. Then I know that, okay, my audience, they're specifically interested in that.
And related to that, and sort of a two-part question, it makes a lot of sense to follow the numbers and look at the analytics and say, oh, cardiovascular system gets a lot of hits and interest. And so let's break that down and do some more videos. But I have a hunch that knowing you think there are some uncovered, less sexy, less dynamic issues that we should be paying attention to that are more taken for granted. Maybe neurons is one of those issues that need more excitement around them, or is there any temptation, I guess the question is, to sort of try to light a fire in different areas that don't normally draw so much attention? Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm the kind of person that, yes, I'm analytical and I will go based on data. And then I'm also the kind of person that I just feel like doing this because I think it's important, or I think it's something that people might be interested in. I'm not the person that's gonna make all of my decisions purely based on the numbers. That's not me. I'm somewhat laid back, but also analytical. And the laid back side of me is gonna be like, all right, I want to do a video on such and such. In addition to that, I'm experimenting right now with YouTube Shorts and like videos for TikTok and all that kind of stuff. And in doing that, I'm not doing any kind of analysis. I'm like, let me come up with some silly skit
Yeah.
that's going to teach a very important point, and I will do a skit on that, and then I'll see how it's received. There's no research that goes into determining. The only research that goes into determining what I'm doing for that is, hey, what are some really cool biology topics or really fun biology ideas or interesting facts that you may not know about biology? And I will find it and I'm like, oh, that's a really good one. I'm going to do something silly on that. And then I'll just do it.
They are great. I've watched a few of them. Very, very fun. In fact, I think you may have taken some acting classes to pull off those characters.
I just like having fun. You might, I mean, if you're gonna be teaching a subject like biology, have fun with it. I enjoy it, and I know that if I have fun with it, then the person that's on the receiving end, they're gonna be more likely to enjoy it. And that's the tagline for interactive biology is making biology fun. And if I'm accomplishing that, if somebody laughs, if someone's like, man, you're so stupid, that's just fun, that's just ridiculous, I feel good because they're engaging with biology, and that's exactly what I want.
Dude, why are you crying?
Because I'm shrinking.
Man, where you get that foolishness?
Yesterday I was 5 foot 10 inches. Today I'm 5'9.5". If this continues, I'll disappear.
Wait, did you measure yourself in the morning yesterday?
Yes.
And did you measure yourself again tonight?
Yes. How do you know?
Because of biology. You see, you have a vertebral column, your backbone.
Okay.
And all along the vertebral column, you have vertebral discs that protect and cushion the spine.
Okay.
As you go throughout your day, the discs get compressed and fluid escapes, making your discs and you a little shorter.
Really?
Yeah, and when you go to sleep, the fluid diffuses back into the discs, making them and you a little taller.
So I shrink every day, but I also get taller every day?
Exactly. Wow, that's so cool. How do you know all of this? I'm subscribed to Interactive Biology.
I should subscribe too.
I don't see a whole lot of sponsorship messages around your platform. If they're there, I'm not seeing them. How are you making this work?
Yeah, so I've probably done I'm trying to think so far, maybe 1 or 2 sponsored videos. Sponsorships has not been a big part of what I do. In terms of how I'm making it work, there's one part of that has to do with ads. You know, when you watch a video on YouTube, fortunately for the creator, but unfortunately for the viewer, man, there's so many ads on YouTube right now. You're trying to watch a simple video and you got to get through all kinds of stuff.
Right.
But that does make the creator money. And it's one way of, hey, you're putting free content out there into the world, but you're getting paid and making some revenue so that you can help to fund what you're doing, and also so that you can pay yourself some.
Right.
That isn't a huge amount, but it's decent. Beyond that, right now, for example, I am working on creating an anatomy and physiology course that people will be able to purchase. In the past, I've had a study guide that I used to sell on the site that people could purchase. So there are a number of other things that I provide as resources and things that I'm creating that people will have to pay for if they want to get access to. In addition to that, I do other things related to online business and marketing and so on that helps to fund some of what I'm doing on the interactive biology end.
Gotcha. Well, the fun part certainly makes a lot of sense. And who doesn't enjoy learning any topic when it's put in a sort of a fun context?
Exactly.
Why does the professor always have to have that heavy, weight around their shoulders in terms of just, I've got all this knowledge in the front of the classroom and I'm going to impart it one day at a time, one lecture at a time to 400 people in a lecture hall?
Yeah.
Why can't it be fun? But there's also a part of learning where it does become a two-way street, where the student really has to have that spark, just like you talked about, knowing that flashpoint, that moment when you realized this was going to be your life's work. How do we get more students to appreciate the fact that it's important to know how our bodies function, that we need to, and we're better off as people, probably, we're better off when we have a conversation with a doctor or anybody in the medical field around understanding how our body functions. And we need to not only make it fun, but we need to get those students to a point where they are eager for the knowledge.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there are a number of aspects to that. One part of it is the making it fun, because, I've had some people a lot of people watch my videos and said, man, I don't even care about biology, or I hate biology as a topic in school, but I enjoy watching your videos. And right there, I think, gotcha, I got you, because you're going to watch. And, I'm sorry, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, fortunately, you're going to learn some biology in the process. And I'm just sneaking it in there for you. It's kind of like you want to give a kid some medicine. So you put some sweet stuff around it, and this tastes great. They don't know that it's helping them. They just know that it tastes good. That's part number one. But part number two, there's a responsibility on us as teachers, right? To where, yeah, I could make stuff fun, but am I giving them what they need? So now I have to be thinking a layer deeper, right? How can I get them what they need so that they can start getting an appreciation for the kind of stuff that they need to know more of? How can I start, if all I'm doing is talking about, the structures within the body, okay, that's great. Now we know the structures within the body. Who cares? What is that going to do for me? But if I can show you how knowing this can help you to live a better life, if I can show you how it helps you to be stronger and what happens as a result of you being stronger, when I can bring it in the context of, hey, you're playing a game of basketball and you're exercising, your cardiovascular system is doing what it does, and how that affects your cardiovascular system and so on. Now they're connecting playing basketball with biology and the cardiovascular system and so on. It's important for us to be thinking about how we can get what they need to them. It's kind of like you sneak them in with what they want, and you give them what they need. You pull them in with what they want. They want to laugh. They want to have fun. Okay, well, I'll act like two characters talking to each other about this silly topic. Like I did one the other day on all of the different senses, and I did one on the fact that we shrink every day, but we because our vertebral column and the discs, they get compressed, and then what happens in that process. And I'm just doing this silly back and forth thing, and they're laughing, but at the end of it, it's like, oh shoot, well, now I know something I didn't know before. And as I create this series, they're going to start getting more and more things that are going to help them to make better decisions about how to live their life, better decisions about what to put inside their body. Like, these are practical things that I want people to get. So I'm gonna do all the funny and ridiculous stuff, but it's kind of like you're the mastermind behind this thing to trick people. I'm using this facetiously, but you're tricking people into caring about their bodies more, because when they care more about their bodies, they live better lives. They feel more energetic. They can do some more of the things that they want to do in life. They can have more fun with their families. Like, it's all related. And if we can communicate that over time, I think we're making the world a better place.
I agree completely. That's great. I particularly like the video about the number of muscles involved in various activities.
Oh, yes.
And I won't go into a lot of detail there. Just people should just watch that, because there's a great bit in there that is funny.
Man, the comments that I've gotten on that one have been fascinating. Man.
All of
people
the muscles?
really.
All of the muscles?
Whoever's listening to this, they're probably thinking, what in the world are they talking? You got to check out the video, and then you'll get it.
Yeah, you'll get it. Exactly. Do you think there should be a different approach in elementary schools out there in public school land in terms of doing more to introduce human anatomy and human physiology at an earlier age?
Absolutely. Here's the thing about anatomy and physiology. Okay, so I remember when I was getting my first job as a teacher, and it was at a high school. So, you know, I'd been used to university level biology and anatomy and physiology and so on. And I went in to talk to my biology teacher, my biology professor, and he told me, you know, it's important for them to get to know all the facts and all this stuff. And yeah, this is important. But really, the younger kids, what you want to spark in them is curiosity. You want them to be excited, because if they can get that at a young age, it will change everything for them. Yeah, the details matter, and you want to make sure that they're getting some of those details. But what you want even more is for them to get that, oh man, that is cool. When I think about anatomy and physiology, there's so much of the, oh man, that is cool stuff that's happening in there that in practical ways, we can show them how they're doing the things that they're doing. And why is it, man, you just went to play some basketball there with your friends and now you're breathing heavily. What's going on there? Like, there's so many practical things that we can do within anatomy and physiology to get kids more curious about how their bodies function. You know, when I started teaching anatomy and physiology to my kids, probably at the age of like 2 or 3, when they started being able to talk. And, you know, one day, I think my son was maybe 4 years old. And he asked me, I was feeding my daughter. And as I'm feeding my daughter, he's asking me, what happens with the food when like it goes from her mouth? And then we started talking about the digestive system. And then like he just kept asking, and then what happens next? And then what happens next? And at the age of 5, he started learning about gastric juice and hydrochloric acid and what it does in the digestion of the food and how it goes down the small intestines and the large intestines and all. And then we made a song about it because they were so into it. So we sang, the digestive system is how we eat. And then we started talking about from the mouth to esophagus to stomach, that's fine. And then to the small and large intestine, the rectum and the anus, and then it comes out. and we had them do the actions and all this kind of stuff. And they, like, my kids know the digestive system. They know the respiratory system. They know all of these different systems. And they were like 5, 6 years old. And it gives them a completely different appreciation for eating pizza. It gives them a completely different appreciation for breathing in and out. Like, if we can inspire kids at a young age to see these things as relevant to their lives, we'll change that whole, there's a narrative of biology is that difficult thing that we had to take back in high school and it was so annoying. Right. It changes all of that.
Yeah, very good. So Leslie, when did you encounter anatomy in clay?
When did I encounter anatomy in clay? So I remember I was teaching at the high school, and somehow I stumbled onto the website and I saw the stuff and I was like, huh, this is interesting. And then I started looking at some videos and I'm like, oh, shoot, this is cool. Like, you're building this stuff, you're creating it. I don't care how much you know about biology, you know about clay. And kids love to play with clay. That was the first time I encountered it. I never actually got my hands on it when I was teaching at the high school. It's only been recently that I've gotten my hands on like a few models. And if you're watching the video, you can see like I have 2 bodyguards behind me. They look kind of skinny, but they're very powerful bodyguards. And I started actually working with it. And here's the funny thing, right? Because I used to teach anatomy as a professor, and then actually building out the muscles, it gave me, it like took my knowledge of anatomy to the next level. Because I remember building out muscles and I'd make a mistake. and I do it wrong in terms of the directions that the striations are going. And then I have to rebuild it. And that just helps to like solidify it in my mind. I might sound like a big fanboy, but I love the tactile approach to actually building things out. And I think that if we can get that in the hands of more students, especially at a younger age, man, it changes everything.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're proud of the system, of course, and
Absolutely. You should be.
Yeah, yeah. So what's next for you? What are the big plans here in the future? What's you're doing more videos? Sounds like you're working on a course.
Yeah.
What?
So,
all right, go ahead.
yeah. So the big vision, or part of the big vision. Yes, I'm going to continue making videos. I want to cover all aspects of biology, really. And to a certain extent, that goes beyond me. So at a certain point, I also see bringing on other instructors. There's a organization called Khan Academy, and I don't know if you know of them.
Oh, sure, sure.
Okay, yeah. So they do all kinds of topics. When I started interactive biology, I said to myself, I want to be the Khan Academy of biology.
Right.
I want it to get to a place where if there's a topic within biology that you want to know, you can get it at interactive biology. And we're gonna start superficially, and then we're gonna go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper to the point where it doesn't matter at what level you're coming in at, there is something there for you to take your knowledge of biology to the next level. That's ultimately where I see things going. In the meantime, there's more videos. There's the first course, but then there are multiple courses coming down the pipeline, and just continue to grow and help to make biology fun for students and teachers worldwide.
Yeah, that's great. You must think back to that young version of yourself leaving St. Martin's Island and, heading off to the United States, and, looking back, and probably at that point, at least that you said that you had no real idea where this was all heading. And that you then encountered a moment that changed your life, literally one moment in a classroom.
Yeah.
Wow, you must feel awfully proud and just satisfied knowing that you're making the world a better place and providing so much wonderful content for other students and hopefully inspiring them.
Yeah, it's extremely rewarding. And it's extremely rewarding because now I'm able to go back to St. Martin and work with students that are down there trying to figure out what they want to do in life. And they can see, I can show them what I'm doing and show them that it's possible for little old you from that little 37 square mile island to have an impact. I mean, with the technology that we have today, anyone can have an impact. So now I can inspire those people and other people all around the globe to, if there's something that you're passionate about, you can pursue it. You can create content in a way that it can help other people, and you can have that impact. That, for me, that full circle moment of being able to help others to discover their passions and use their passions to have an impact on the world, that is the most rewarding thing.
Wow. Well, Leslie Samuel, thank you so much for your time on the podcast today. We wish you all the best, and thanks for all you do with interactive biology and all your efforts.
Thank you for having me on here. This was an amazing experience. So thanks a lot.